All right. So, welcome back to room 261. This is a video, again for October 12th, um, on factoring. You can see this is the worksheet that was actually handed to you after the test last week. And so it's a review of factoring. And so the first two are done for you, as you can guess. Let's just sort of get to the third one, and we'll just talk about it a little bit. And so we have b squared plus 8b minus 9. For one thing, you should notice that there is not a common factor among the three terms. Okay. And in fact, the entire worksheet is in that category. There is not a common factor among the three terms on any of these. And so let's do a few of these that are, all a little different, but pretty much the same. You can see that this one says b squared plus 8b minus 9. And so what we're going to do is we're going to say, I bet this factors into two binomials. And so we have a b squared. We'll put a b here and a b there. And then after that, it becomes okay. It's a little number game, really. You need two numbers that multiply to negative 9, all right, and that have a difference of 8, okay? And so two numbers that multiply to 9 and have a difference of 8. And those two numbers are 9 and 1. And so if I put a 9 in one of these spots and a 1 in the other of those spots, and then I say to myself, okay, I want this to be plus 8b. And so if I put a plus sign here and a minus sign there, you can see that my middle terms, if I did multiply them out, if I did FOIL them, my middle terms would be 9b and then minus b for a total of 8b. And so that's the answer. Let's just go right down to the bottom one. You can see, to the one below it, I mean, you can see that in this case we have x squared, so we'll put an x here and an x there. And so we need two numbers in this case to multiply to 90. And see, this plus sign is different than the last one. On the last one, we had a minus sign. Okay, and so on this one we need two numbers to multiply by 9 that have a difference of 8. Okay, that's because of this minus sign. On this question 5 here, we need two numbers to multiply to 90, but that add to 19. And so, some people like to make a list off to the side and they think, well, what does multiply to 90? And so they'll come up with a list and, they'll say, I don't know, 45 and 2. Well, those don't add up to 19, and so those are no good. And then they'll say 30 and 3, and those don't add up to 19, and so those are no good. And so you would get to the point where you'd really say, oh, 10 times 9 multiplies to 90 and adds to 19. And so therein lies your answer here. And so we'll put a 10 here and a 9 here. And since this is plus, that means that both of these signs have to be the same. And since this one here is minus, that means both of them have to be minus. And so we'll be here. You could always check your work by multiplying this out like we talked about on the last video. You would say, all right, x times x is x squared. The outers would be minus 9x. The inners would be minus 10 for a grand total of minus 19. And then negative 10 times negative 9 is positive 90. Okay, let's do this one. It's very similar. We need two numbers that multiply to 2 and add to 3. Add because of this plus sign. And so those numbers, of course, are 1 and 2. Okay, let's do another one where it was a minus sign in between. So maybe go down here to 15. We need two numbers that multiply to 21 and have a difference of 4. A difference because of this minus sign, right? And so you might think to yourself, 7 times 3 is 21, and 7 and 3 have a difference of 4. And so I'll put a 7 here and a 3 there. And this plus sign here tells us what to do with the sign. So we have plus 4, and since 7 is larger than 3, We want that one to have a plus sign, and we want this one to have a minus sign. All right. Okay, there are some other ones, or at least one other one, where it's in a form called a difference of squares. And so a difference of squares is if it's written as a squared minus b squared, it's true that it factors as a minus b, a plus b. Let's just explore that a little bit to convince ourselves that that's true. See, if I did FOIL this, I would have a squared plus ab minus ab minus b squared. And so you can see that the plus ab and the minus ab would go away. And so you have a squared minus b squared. And so just over here, let's just do one that's in that form. And so you can see that it's x squared minus 81. And so you might just ask yourself, what times itself is 81? And the answer to that, of course, is 9. And so this would factor as x minus 9, x plus 9. Okay. I hope this helps you when you're trying to do question 4. Okay. When you're trying to do question 4, this pattern should sort of help you. All right. It's just sort of an interesting thought that you might like. So, for example, have you ever noticed that, like, when you take 9 times 9, we're just picking 9. It's no reason I picked 9. I could have picked any number I like. If I went up 1 and down 1, I would have 80. 10 times 8 is 80. If I went another direction up and then another direction down, I'd have 11 times 7, which is 77. I want you to notice something. This is down 1. And then from 81 to 77 is down 4. Okay, if we did this again and said 12 times 6, that's 72. The difference between 81 and 72 is 9. And the reason I'm bringing this up, you might just notice that, like, for example, 9 plus 1 times 9 minus 1, according to the factoring we just did, should be 9 squared minus 1 squared. Well, that's 81 minus 80, or minus 1, and so that's 80. And so if I did 9 plus 2 times 9 minus 2, that's 9 squared minus 2 squared. And so that's 81 minus 4, and that's 77. And then similarly, 9 plus 3 times 9 minus 3 is 81 minus 9, or 72. And so the point that I'm making here is that, like, sometimes this might help your mental arithmetic. What if somebody asks you to find, like, 32 times 28 in your head? Okay, well, you might not be able to do that very easily, but I bet you know that 30 times 30 is 900. And furthermore, I bet you could reason that 32 is 30 plus 2, and 28 is 30 minus 2. And so it's true that 32 times 28 would be 30 squared minus 2 squared. And so that's 900 minus 4, and so that's 896. And so that's just kind of a number trick that you can use that might sometimes help you do a little more mental arithmetic in your head. Of course, mental arithmetic in your head is the only way to do mental arithmetic, isn't it, Mr. Neve? Yes, it is. But it's in the afternoon and I'm tired, so I might not be making complete sense. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll have more.